Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Kim, and Steve's not here today because this is mostly just going to be my video. I am getting ready to go on a day hike, so I wanted to talk to you guys about my 10 C's of survival for before you go out into the bush. All right, so stick with us. Okay, like I said, I'm getting ready to go on a really fun day hike. Hopefully I'm not over preparing, but it is a pretty long trail and it is kind of cold weather that we're getting into. So I wanted to make sure that I am pretty well prepared for going out. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about. Preparedness being not just disaster preparedness, but also preparing for those everyday disasters. Preparing for just going out and for a hike or just going out if you're hunting, making sure that you are prepared for anything that might happen. So I wanted to go over, like I said, these 10 C's. And this is like my own list. I compiled it from other people's and a few things that I thought of. So hopefully they will be Kim's 10 C's. If you've heard them before, I'm pretty sure they're everybody's 10 C's. But the first one is going to be container. To me, that interprets what I'm going to be carrying, making sure I've got a nice, comfortable, small bag, because this isn't going to be my bug out bag or my inch bag or anything, or my get home bag. This is just a day hike bag. So I'm going to have a bag all to itself that is just for my hiking trips. But that also means container is somewhere to be able to collect water with. And so I've also got my water purification tablets with that. I've got a camel pack already in my backpack. So being able to have a container for water or for all your equipment and making sure it is a comfortable container. The next one on the list is cutting tool. Most people have their favorite knife that they like to carry with them, and that's great, whatever works. My biggest thing when I'm out actually on a trail or something, not just my EDC cutting tool, is actually having kind of a mid-size cutting tool. This one is just about hand's length, full tang knife, about that way. But I want to make sure it's full tang that can handle small stuff like just cutting cords, that it's not too big and bulky like a machete, but is also big enough to handle if I need to trim down some firewood or anything like that. So about mid-size, not too big, not too small cutting tool. Number 3 on my list is combustion. So having a multitude of different things to be able to start a fire. Staying warm, especially in times like this, but also being able to purify water, having a multitude of different ways. I have matches, a lighter, I've got my black and white fire starter there along with some kindling from black and white. So we love using those. I've also got a ferro rod. If all the other ones fail, I've got that. But having a multitude of different ways to make fire, so your combustion. Another one I'm going to kind of make a twofold. The C is cover, but I want to throw in covering along with that. Cover and clothing together. To me, that's just making sure that you're staying nice and warm. For my cover, I've got a survival blanket that's also big enough to be used as a tarp to make a makeshift lean-to. So we have that. I also have a poncho, just in case it starts raining. We have had rain for the last couple days. It's not supposed to rain on our hike, but weather. But on top of that, making sure I've got, I wear a nice hat, that way I can keep the sun out of my eyes. Sorry guys. But also bringing some extra undergarments. To say I'm bringing a bandana for a multitude of different reasons. You can use it to filter out particles or particulates when you're collecting your water, but also just keeping yourself cool and other hygienic reasons, so you might carry one. But having change out of your underclothes, I'm bringing an extra undershirt, extra socks, undergarments to wear if I get too sweaty and I need to change out, because I'm bringing the clothes that I'm bringing are the wicking tie shirts and wool socks to make sure that they are not cotton. Make sure they're either wool or synthetic, that's going to keep the moisture off your body, so you're not, especially when it cools down, all that moisture left on your clothes, it's going to be wet. Cotton takes forever to dry out, and it just keeps that wetness on top of you, and so you're going to have a lot harder time staying warm. So I'm bringing extra clothes, that way if I'm getting sweaty on the trail or just getting too wet, I have something to change into that is dry. That way I'm not getting hypothermic out there. On top of having cover is cordage. I'm bringing about 100 foot of 550 cord, paracord, as my cordage. 100 foot's probably overkill, but the multitude of different things that you can use with cordage, from setting up a shelter to replacing your shoelaces. I've also got one of those little paracord bracelets that Steve made that I'm going to be taking out, that I can literally just unwind in a hurry and have extra cordage that way on my person. But 550 cord is always the best, but whatever you can come up with, just having some extra cordage to be able to set up a shelter, or even just getting stuff, if there's bears or raccoons out there and you want to get your food up into a tree, having some cordage to lift it up. So a multitude of different resources with cordage. So like I said, I'm bringing a big bundle of it. The next thing on the list is care. Steve has set me up with a great little trauma kit. It's got our, I'll just pop it out real quick. It's got your basic bandages and compression, but also got a tourniquet in there as well. If for some reason somebody gets seriously hurt, I'm not too worried about band-aids. We have a few, but something small like that can be used with a handkerchief just to cover it up or something like that. I'm more worried and concerned about if somebody has a major accident on the trail that needs immediate medical attention. And Steve's not there to give it. Next one on the list is, on my list, is consumption. We're making sure that we bring some basic food with us on the trail. Just some protein bars. This is almonds. I put some peanuts and some M&Ms in there to make my own homemade trail mix out of that. But simple stuff that will be easy to eat. But having something that if you're out there a lot longer than you plan on being, to keep your energy up if you possibly need to wait out for a rescue. Candling. That is going to be our next C, and that's pretty much your flashlight and your headlamp. I'm using both, mostly because for the headlamp is if I am needing to traverse or look around or working, I can just pop that on my head and my hands are still free. But if I just need a quick look, having a small flashlight just for little small things, just taking a quick look around with. But I like having backups because one is none and two is one. My ninth C is communications. Now that's more than just having your cell phone, which I'm bringing, but it's also making sure you're telling people where you're going, where is your planned route, what time you're supposed to be back, but also having ways to communicate if you get into trouble. Now a lot of people out there are ham radio licensed, or they have just a basic walkie-talkie with, say, base camp, but I try to make sure that I am bringing a whistle for me and my daughter because she's going with me. So I've got my whistle and she's got her whistle. But I also bring, these can be put under candling, but I use them for communication. The glow sticks can be attached to your cordage. And then when you swing them around like a helicopter like you would with a kid, or a sparkler or something when you were a kid, it can make a really big signal if you're trying to signal for help. So having some way to communicate, to signal for help. It may be raining and a fire won't do the trick. Having the flashlight is another good one, but having some way to, so you're not relying on your voice, that won't carry as far as a whistle. An emergency whistle is even better. If you have one of those like emergency, really high-pitched ones, they're great. But like I said, having multiple different ways of communicating to try to get help. Like I said, this isn't a bug-out bag where you're trying to avoid people. I'm going on a day hike. And so if I need to signal for help, having multiple different ways to do that. Last but not least is coordinates and compass. This is going to be number 10, and I think it's one of the most important, is making sure I printed off Sorry, my kitty cat's over yelling. I printed off the trail maps for where we're going and for the surrounding areas. If you can get a hold of topo maps for the area, that's even better. We weren't able to get a hold of topo maps, but I'm going to see if the park has some once we get there. But having that and a compass ready to go, that way if you do get lost or just get turned around for a minute, you can kind of know about where might be water sources nearby, but also how to maybe get back to the trail that you were at. But having clear navigation of where you're going, clear coordinates on where you're going, and like I said, making sure other people know where you're heading to, where you plan on going, when you're supposed to be back. All right, guys, I know this was kind of quick, and I hope sure I didn't go through it too quick. These are just 10 simple C's for going out into the bush. I think I covered all of them. Container, cutting tool, combustion, cover, cordage, care, consumption, candle, communication, and coordinates. So hopefully that's 10 and I didn't miscount. And I hope this helps if you're going out, like I said, for simple day hikes, or if you're going out into the woods for hunting. Like, I know hunting season's already started and is in full swing right now. This is just a simple way to carry things, not in a very big bag, but just having your basic necessities with you while you're going out into the woods, and being very careful when you do so. Always remember to think before you go. All right, make a plan and work the plan. All right, I think that's everything. I hope this helps somebody. I'm going to go and enjoy my weekend out on the trail. And so y'all wish me luck. And if y'all can think of anything that y'all would add to your 10 C's that would be different from mine, or just add it onto, maybe we can make a list of 15. But all right, guys, y'all have a wonderful day, and I hope this helps. Bye.